Don't love me quietly, do it with intensity. We'll miss the point. When with everything you stray, oh, there's no love to be gained. 'Cause we only civilized. I could almost love you more. We will throw this building up just so we can tear it down. Nightfire.
So it's been 13 years since the last 007 game came out. That one being 007 Legends. That was all the way back in 2012. And so I was like, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic. Let me go ahead and play one of my favorite 007 games. That one being this bad boy right here, 007 Nightfire.
By the way, who are you?
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Now this game came out on the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. I actually have it on Xbox also, but I don't have the case. So I ended up purchasing it again, and for some reason I got it on PS2. The only thing I would say that the Xbox has over, and I even think the GameCube too, over the PS2 is that you can play 4 players. The PS2 you only have 2 like slots for the controller. So yes, they do have multiplayer, but we'll get into that later. But here's the case. Look at that. You got Pierce Brosnan right there, and you got the back of the case, and the inside, well, the disc is right there. The manual, nothing special. Unfortunately, it's just all in black and white. We got a manual, but it's not pretty. It doesn't have color. Now, this is the 5th game in the whole Pierce Brosnan James Bond era. First one being Goldeneye, which is legendary. Second one is Tomorrow Never Dies. Third one being The World Is Not Enough. And then Agent Under Fire. However, with those games, while they did somewhat make it look like Pierce Brosnan, it really was never like his face. This is the first time that they actually fully scan his face. And, well, it looks just like him, really. It looks pretty good, even for a 2002 game. That was advanced technology back then. The only thing you can't say the same thing about his voice. It's actually voiced by somebody called Maxwell Caulfield, if I pronounced that right. I hope I did. Honestly, as a kid, I never noticed it, so it didn't bother me, so yeah. So the plot of this game is nothing crazy. You're basically James Bond, and you're trying to figure out information about this guy named Drake, who is an industrialist and wants to basically wipe out the entire Earth, and the operation is called Operation Nightfire. So, but other than that, you have 12 awesome missions to go through, each with like really cool locations, 4 of them being vehicle levels. And how you tackle those levels, you could either do them in stealth, which majority of them prefer you do in stealth.
I'd give that dive a 3, actually.
But if not, you can always go full on action. However, you do have these things called like 007 points or bomb points. I don't know. They're like these golden icons that pop up once you do like something, I guess, that James Bond would do. So the game does have like slight little objectives. I just did what I could, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that popped up. There are these moments that you're surrounded by civilians, which takes all your weapons away, and you just have like your stun gadgets, something that can't really kill anybody, but you can still punch them in the face. And once you do that, you do lose the mission. I won't lie, don't know what comes over me, but every time I'm around somebody in those in those missions, I just got the massive urge to just... But majority of the cases, the game mostly wants you to be in a stealth-like position, which I feel like it's the most fun. You do have a set of 4 boss battles, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 4. None of them are pretty complicated, but they're there and they're neat. The one where you fight the ninja, I really enjoyed it. Now, there are some really good standout levels in this game. I would say the second one is really good. I've replayed that one many times. There's one that's called Night Shift, which is full-on stealth, and you get this like sleeping dart pistol. It works pretty well, but I've noticed that you only have 10, and it's easier just to basically do the old-fashioned way. When you do that, it basically, in a way, fully eliminates them, and you don't have to use your darts. I guess you can use the darts if they're gonna ring the alarm, So that's the best way to use them, and then you can just knock them out. You do have a set of 4 vehicle levels, and I'll be honest, they're okay. They can be kind of annoying. They're there to kind of, I guess, change the pace of the game, and it does work, but towards the end of the game, they put you in 2 vehicle missions back to back, and I won't lie, it gets pretty boring and frustrating. The first one, which, by the way, in this whole game, you're driving the Aston Martin, and it becomes a freaking submarine. It's a decent level. It just moves a little bit too slow. Then after that, you go to another mission, and you're using the enemy vehicles. The problem with that mission is it is very unfair. There's enemies shooting at you, and if you're trying to back up, again, controlling the car is not easy. So if you turn left real hard, the car will just swerve the other way. And if you're trying to reverse, they'll start shooting at you, and your health just keeps dropping and dropping, even if you set the difficulty to the easiest one, which, by the way, there are 3 of them. You have operative, agent, and then 00 agent. I put that on operative if I was still having some trouble. Because the thing is, once you lock onto an enemy and you shoot those missiles, sometimes those missiles don't really hit them. They hit the environment around it, so you're wasting ammo. That would be the worst mission in the game. But other than that, levels are pretty cool. You even go in space. The final mission is in space, and you have a laser gun. That's awesome. So it's a James Bond game, and of course, you're gonna have tons of gadgets and weapons. You always start off a mission with the Wolfram. It's a pistol, and you can put a silencer on it. I always did it, but there are weapons around the game, even enemy variant weapons, that they always have a silencer, so you can always equip it to be like stealthy. You do have a laser, which comes in handy when you're deactivating like security lights and all that stuff. A lighter, which comes up as a camera, but there's a large like section of weapons, and honestly, you can really expand like how you want to tackle the level depending on what kind of gun you pick up, so it never really gets boring how you take out the enemies. Now, here's the thing. This game came out in 2002, and I was just a wee little boy, and I know it's James Bond. He gets the ladies every time. He always gets the ladies. But look, every time he was around one of them and they're just about to kiss, you know, that the girl would always make those noises, you know? She'd be...
James. Oh, James.
I always had to like lower my volume where I feel so uncomfortable that my parents would be thinking I'm watching something else, which I wasn't. Now this game, like others in this era, really rewarded you in the fact that if you put in cheat codes, you unlock things. And see, that was really fun. As a kid, you look up on the internet and you're like, oh, I wonder what this is, and you write them on your little notebook and you put them in the game case. It was awesome. A lot of people did that for games like GTA and stuff. You know, now it's just... modern cheat codes is just you take out your wallet and you put in your debit or credit card and you just give it to them. You just give them the money and you unlock early access to a character that's already in the freaking game, because nowadays they don't want you unlocking things anymore. They just want you to pay for it, because that's modern gaming. I'm finished for now. The last game that we have is one of the coolest ones. It's multiplayer. Now, I played this a lot as a kid with my dad, my cousins, especially in the 4-player split screen. It was just awesome. You have a set of game modes. You could either pick them in Arena, Team Deathmatch, Goldeneye Assassination. There's a lot of them in there, and you can even put bots. You can put bots in your team or in the opposing team. You can set up the amount of health that they want. You can go down into like the game settings and change up how you want the weapons to be spawning, if you want them randomized, if you want them advanced, if you just want snipers only, pistols only. A lot of customization. You can put in small vehicles that you can control and like shoot your opponents down. You can even control spawn points. You can put yourself to be spawned near enemies or far away from enemies. That way you kind of have some breathing room to recoup. And lastly, each bot, when you pick them out, they all have their own like presets. So like, for example, a soldier here, he has like average aim and like normal aggression. But when you have like an assassin or a ninja, they have like massive aggression and high like accuracy. Really cool. Now you can tweak them to your liking, each of the bots in your team or the opposing team, but that's some awesome customization. They do have a range of cool levels. The best one I would say is Skyrail. I think that's the one that I played the most. You have 2 houses on the opposing map, and I would say the best weapon in that whole level is and I even would say in the game, it's the rocket launcher, where you can like just do the unguided and guided. Once you guide that thing, it's just a it's just a one-shot kill. Now those bots that are in the game, they are characters in previous Bond films like Jaws, and well, I don't remember this one, so... well, that's pretty much it for the game. I do hope that they kind of port these games over. They are pretty fun. They're enjoyable. They are arcade-like, you know? Nothing serious, but they're pretty enjoyable. So playing 007 Nightfire in 2025, it's a fun game, honestly. Besides that horrible mission that you can skip, by the way. If you don't really want to, look up the cheat codes and unlock all the missions and just skip over it. It really doesn't even serve a purpose in the game that much, so it's just do that. If nobody has ever played these games, or this one in particular, go ahead and give it a shot. They're fun arcadey games, nothing serious, and they're not that long. This game basically took me like a set of like 5 hours in total. And that will do it for the end of the video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, share the video, and comment down below. Is this your first 007 game? Have you ever played a 007 game? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time, okay? Bye.